This is a walkthrough of the Metasploit exploitation lab. So I've got my Kali VM, and I've got the server that we're trying to target on the left here. First thing I'm going to do is an if config, so I can find out the IP of each machine. So the IP of our server that we're trying to target is 10.0.0.47. And I'm going to remember that for later. Now I'm going to start the Kali PostgreSQL service, which Metasploit uses as its backend. I'm going to enter sudo system enter my password. Now I'm going to initialize the Metasploit database. Looks like it's already configured. And now I'm going to launch the Metasploit console. And here we are. Here's the Metasploit console. And first thing I'm going to do is check that we're connected to that database that I just tried to initialize. So I'm going to do that, db_status connected to MSF. Okay, that means we're good. Now I'm going to select our workspace that we created in class. Now I'm going to enter the workspace command in order to view our currently configured workspaces. Here we have a default workspace, and then we have this one that I just created with this above command. And it has the asterisk and it's in red, so we know that that's the current one that's selected. Now I'm gonna run nmap on our server that we're trying to attack. And I'm gonna use that IP address 10.0.0.47 that we learned from the if config command we ran just a couple minutes ago. I'm gonna do enter the IP of the target machine. And now nmap is doing its thing. So here's our nmap. Here's the host that we scan. This is the server we're trying to attack. And you can see we've got all these open services. FTP, SSH, Telnet, HTTP, Microsoft, yada yada. First I'm going to target this FTP service using a pre-configured exploit within the Metasploit exploitation. So I'm going to use Metasploit to find an exploit for FTP. And here Metasploit is found an exploit, ranked excellent. See, it was discovered in 2011. So now that we've got our exploit, we have to tell Metasploit which host we want to target and which port on that specific host that we're going to target. So first I'm going to tell it the host. So I'm going to do set our host 10.0.0.47. Looks good. I'm going to do the same thing for the port. Set our port. FTP is on port 21. Looks good to me. And lastly, before I run the exploit, I need to tell Metasploit to use that specific exploit that we just looked up right here. So I'm going to do that by entering the path. I'm going to say use exploit Unix FTP VSFTP, and then I do a tab and it fills in the rest for me. And now I think we're ready, so I'm going to enter the command of exploit and watch Metasploit do the rest. And just like that, in about less than 15 seconds, we have a command prompt opened up on our target server over here. So I'm going to do a who am I. It returns root. And now I'm going to do an ifconfig. And see, we have that 10.0.47 number that we just told Metasploit to exploit right here. So we are in our target server. Now that we're in the server, I'm going to do a Control-C to terminate the session. And I'm going to do back to get rid of this exploit right here. Because I'm going to run more exploits. Now I'm going to try to exploit the Samba service and implement an implementation of Microsoft file and printer sharing protocols. First, I will search exploits for Samba. So it's going to be a similar process as before. Do a search, type exploit name Samba. And see, we've got a bunch of exploits here. I think I'm gonna try this one right here. Disclose 2007 and rank exploit. So I'm gonna tell Metasploit to use that specific exploit. So we've got that same 10.0.47 number we configured earlier. So I'm just gonna change the port that we're gonna target on that server. So I did a quick Google search, and I found out that the Samba service runs on port 139. So I'm gonna do a set our port 139. So now we have our exploit, we have our host, and we have our port configured. So now the only thing left should be able to run the exploit. And here we got another command session opened on 10.0.47. And we'll confirm that by doing the same things we did earlier. Who am I? Root. an if config. We got that 10.0.47 number. And then I'm going to do a ls, which is like a dir. And see, we've got all the files and folders in the current directory we're in. So we've got our compromised system on the left, and I've got a Kali terminal open. So if I'm gonna prepare to send data from the password and shadow files over to our Kali VM using the netcat utility. So first I'm gonna prepare netcat to receive the data. We're gonna send it to a password.txt file. So here's that password.txt file. Now I'm gonna go over to the compromised machine, do a cat of the password file, and do a pipe to the netcat 10.0.96, which is our Kali VM, on port 4567. Do that. Now we open up our password file, and we've got the password file from the compromised machine. Now I'm going to close that. I'm going to exit out of this. And now I'm going to run that same command again, but for the shadow file. So now I created a shadow file. There's nothing in it right now. Now I'm going to do the same thing again, but for the shadow file. .0.96, which is our Kali VM. Now remember, these commands that I'm entering right now are taking place on this Metasploit VM that I've got running on the right over here. Click enter. Now we open up the shadow file, and now we've got all this data. So we just copied data from the password files over on our compromised machine, the password and the shadow files, and now we've got them on our Kali VM. Or wait. Yep, here they are on the Kali machine. Now for part 4, we're going to use an application called xHydra to do a brute force of the SSH protocol running on the Metasploit server VM that we're trying to target. So first I'm going to open up xHydra, enter the target 10.0.0.47, port 22 for SSH. The username is, we know the username is sys. Now for the password list, got it right there. And we're going to change this number of tasks to 4. And now we start it. See, it's attacking the SSH at 10.0.47 port 2022, or at port 222. Port 22, excuse me. And that was pretty quick. As we can see, it found the password Batman. So let's actually try that. So now that we discovered the password from Xhydra, I'm gonna try to SSH into it from the Kali command prompt. So SSH user is SYS. And just like that, we're in the compromised system. Now I'm gonna use Metasploitable to exploit and figure out the username and password for the telnet service running on the target server. So first I'm gonna do sudo system for my password. Now I'm gonna launch the console. I'm going to verify we're connected to the database. Yep. Now I'm going to do a search for the tool we're going to use. I'm just going to do a telnet. Telnet login check scanner. Let's do this one. So I copied it. Now I gotta tell it to use it. Tell Metasploitable to use this scanner. Now I'm gonna do show options. So our R port is already set to 23. And I've got to set the host. '47. And I'm gonna set this stop on success. I'm gonna set that to true. Whoops. So I've got my user file right here. So I'm going to drag that. Now what this does is these are all the users that's going to scan the telnet. It's going to try to log on with each one of these users until it finds the correct one. And then I've got one for the passwords too, so here's all the passwords that's going to try too. There's thousands of them. So now I got to set the password file. And now we should be good to go. See, it's trying username admin with the password 123456. It's gonna work down this list and try every password till it finds the correct one. Oh, looks like it found one. So now I'm going to open up a telnet prompt and I'm going to try this MSF admin that I just found. So telnet and the username MSF admin. And it looks like we're in. So ifconfig. We got that 47 number, which is the number we were targeting up here with the telnet. And I'm going to do a who am I? We're MSF admin. And that is the Metasploit Exploitation Lab tutorial. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed.